Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Shamshir Sound. My name is Ali Nadem, and in today's episode, it is episode 5 of the Migos Narcos remix. So today we're looking at mixing and mastering, and specifically what's on the master chain, because the song hasn't changed too much. We have finished the structure, did a little bit of volume tweaks, like I reduced the volume of the break clap a bit by like 0.3 dB, some small tweaks. It's always good to listen to your track in full and listen just technically and just be like, okay, is something too loud, is something too quiet, adjust those levels how you like. You might refer to it as leveling, gain staging, whatever you want to do. So that I was doing throughout the project. I think it's important for people to do mixing throughout the whole creation of the song. Maybe not to the point where you're getting distracted, but I feel like EDM, mixing, mastering, they all are kind of correlated, especially mixing, because how loud your kick is going to be depending on how you mix it, right? How loud the level is, how quiet it is, what sort of effects are on there, is it being saturated and whatnot. How is the transient? You know, it's very technical. But also, you don't want to let it get in the way when you are having some amazing creativity and all you're thinking about is just EQing something. So sometimes it's good to separate the two, but I think I do a bit of both. A lot of times I'm making music, but then I'm doing the engineering hat, and then I go back to creativity. So we're going to talk about the mastering in this video. And though I have quite a few plugins on here, they're doing very minimal. They're not doing a whole lot. So we're going to first start with SuperCharger GT. Now, SuperCharger GT is a plugin by Native Instruments. They were giving away SuperCharger for free for a while. So I'm not sure if SuperCharger is still free. SuperCharger GT takes it a step above, introduces a few more knobs. And SuperCharger GT is great for taming some high end, giving a bit of like air and presence and crispiness. Can really do a good job at doing a few different things, saturating, giving it some character, and also compressing. However, of these three modes, we're actually not using any of this character. We're not using any of the saturation, and the compression is at 1. So the ratio is not cranked up at all. It's not like that. I also have it on punch, allowing the transients to kick through because it has a longer attack, and then it has a quick release, allowing that to kind of just allow the punchiness, but be as transparent as possible. So if you wanted to make this very transparent, I would use something like the punch preset. On top of this, we're not using any of this sidechain or anything. We are doing parallel. We're doing 50-50, half of the dry mix, half of the wet mix, and also minus 12 dB. This is the input trim. So when you play back your track, this will let you know if the level is too hot or if it's too cold, if it's too quiet. So I brought down this trim a bit, minus 12 dB on that trim. The next thing that I added was saturation knob. So saturation knob took it one step further. SuperCharger was giving it some a bit of color, but very tiny, almost inaudible. And soft tube saturation, this is a free plugin. I recommend you guys grab this. I believe I have it at 0.2. Yeah, 0.2 on the neutral preset. So that's enhancing and saturating the lows and the highs. Of course, you can switch between these. If you want to just saturate the low end or maybe boost some of your highs, you can keep whichever frequency section that you want. But I felt like boosting it, the whole mix, gave it like this tiny little bit of character. And I like to work in small increments when I'm doing mastering. So I like this. I moved it around. I shuffled it around the master chain, but I liked it early in the master chain. So saturation knob with a value of 0.2 in neutral was my second choice. Third choice, I was actually using parametric EQ2 with a roll off at 20 kilohertz and 20 hertz. But what I actually enjoyed was I enjoyed switching it for the SSLEQ. The SSLEQ has this specific character that just sounds really great, both on mixer tracks and the mixer itself. And it's very important to high pass your kick drum or your master. When you do high pass it, you got to find that sweet spot. But when you find that sweet spot, I believe here it's 20 hertz for me. When you find that sweet spot, it gives you a bit more punch because, again, you're deducting and removing those unheard frequencies, frequencies that are just diminishing and just barely felt, because beyond 20 hertz, you know, it becomes very inaudible, and that's taking up precious space on your mixer and in terms of loudness as well. I also went ahead and added this analog button. This added a bit of a noise floor and gives a bit of character, adds a bit of this like analog grit to it. And I also boosted some of the frequencies, 0.24 low, nothing to the low mid, high mid frequencies 0.16, high frequencies 0.31, and actually most of these are default. So very simple, and you're going to want to make sure the EQ is on, but you can run the high pass only without the EQ or this. But I'm using this EQ. I'm also using the high pass and the analog there. Gave it a nice little grit to it. And then we have also Sausage Fattener. Sausage Fattener is acting as a clipper. It is slamming it at 0 dB, keeping it at that ceiling, and giving it just a slight boost, 1% fatness, 1% color. Endless Smile, so we have Endless Smile being automated during the buildup. And though it's on the master, it still works, and I think it still sounds good. So I kept Endless Smile there. Now, last but not least is the Drawmer, and if you've been watching the videos, you can see that I really love this plugin. I've been putting it on my bus sends for my mixer tracks, but I've also put it on the master, and I used it last master as well when I made the bootleg of Lil Pump, Be Like Me. And I feel like it just gives a bit of enhancement. It gives this kind of like just glues the track together. It's really hard to explain it. You guys got to put it on your own stuff and really see how it enhances it. But the Drawmer, really nice, really fantastic plugin, and it comes with your Focusrite hardware. If you guys have like a 2i2, log into your Focusrite account. I'm sure you can download this for free. And last but not least is the Classic Clipper. So the Classic Clipper is really just giving it that loudness. It's boosting it 6 dB with a sharp slope. This sharp slope ensures that we're not really taking away from the punchiness of the track. And you could probably put this at a lower value, but I just left it at the hard, right on the, all the way to the right, and we have the output at 0 dB. So that is a wrap for the master chain, guys. There were some small things that I did. Like I said, I reduced the break clap volume a bit. I also went ahead and went to my kick, and my kick also had a fruity balance, automating it during the break and during the rise, I believe. It's all those small things that you do that adds up. So reducing the kick volume, reducing the clap volume. Always think about what you can take away from it instead of sometimes enhancing stuff. So a lot of times when you want to like fix the low end in your track, all you'll have to do is maybe just boost the sub, just boost the bass. A lot of times we're trying to give a remedy on the master when it's really not necessary. And it's easier for us to just go to the sub, go to that, you know, brass and boost the brass, whatever it might be. But ultimately, I'm really happy with the track the way it is. I always recommend keeping your projects in case you want to come back to this to do like a remaster, or maybe you want to redo it. Always keep a session where maybe you have everything kept, maybe save like a compressed zip, and that can be done just up here, export zipped loop package. And what that does is it takes all the audio files and will save it in a zip, so that if you lost the Migos track, if you lost all these effects, it has everything contained in there. It's kind of like just perfect for collaborations. It has everything in there. So that's a wrap for the master video. And the RMS would hit around -4. It was really loud, louder than I anticipated. I would have been happy if it was like -6 as well. But I kind of like the feeling I went for. I really like that it's really loud. So you know, louder doesn't mean better, but I'm a fan of louder music, and it's just with EDM, you know, Electro House Big Room is just made to be loud. So that's a wrap for the master chain. If you guys have any questions about what I did here, why I did it, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys have any questions regarding mastering, or you want me to make something specific, let me know. I also made a lot of volume cutoffs, automations. I also took one step where I made my riser elements reduce in volume about -2 dB during the rise, so they would play back, but during this segment here they would go towards -2 dB, just to give a bit more impact to the drop. And you can do that just with Fruity Balance. Just load up Fruity Balance and make just a simple volume curve, something similar to this. Now, not exactly like this, but it would go in a linear fashion or a slight curve. So there's a lot that you can do to increase the anticipation and the power of your drops. So really take advantage of that. Take advantage of the simple tools. Less is more, and really focus also on sending your stuff to a group send. If you group your stuff together, I think that it will make it part of the same family and make their sounds a bit more part of the same, like I said, family, like as if they're not just random samples playing, like it's part of an orchestra. You know, the beauty of an orchestra is that everything seems just like everyone has a role, from the tuba to the cymbals to whatever it might be. Everyone has this specific slot. They're not just all playing together at just random times. So it's very important when you group things together, sending them to a bus like so. Here, they're sent here. It's very important for you guys to cut out and curve out those frequencies, those low end frequencies that are combating with your kick and sub. And also remember that your sub doesn't need to be as loud as your kick. Always remember that if you want to make that powerful sub, if you see here my kick and sub, okay, my sub is much lower. My sub is here, my kick is here. So don't fall into that trap where you're trying to make your sub as loud as possible, because then it's going to take away energy from the lead and take away energy from other stuff as well. That's really important. One thing that I kept my eye on during the mixing and mastering was that I didn't want the kick to be overpowered by other elements in the drop. And furthermore, you want to make sure you're monitoring your master at the very end with Voxengo span to make sure that the loudness is not more powerful during the break. What I mean is you don't want more RMS during the break or the build up and then the drop has less, because it takes away from the impact of the drop. So if you have something where you've made a fantastic break and you don't want to move away from it, you're going to have to compensate by making more, adding more to the drop. Or you're just going to have to curve out EQ, reduce some of the volume. And I had to do that a lot to my break elements. My break elements ended up reducing some of their volume a bit, just to make sure that that drop had the most impact. So I hope you guys liked this video. I just wanted to give an explanation of what I loaded up on the master and why. Though I don't have my parametric EQ2 here anymore, I'm still happy with this. I like this. I think that it has gone in the right direction. Here, I'm thinking maybe I should have loaded up like a parametric EQ2, maybe roll off the highs. But I think this works. I like it. And I'm just going to keep my original master. And if I always change my mind, I can always go back and add another plugin or something, maybe as like an anniversary, remaster or something. Because you don't want to fall in that trap where I've done it, where you make so many masters and you're like master 1, master 2, master 3, master 4, because then there's going to be all these placebos and bias and all that. Set it, find what you like and just go for it. And last tip, good thing I didn't forget this, make sure you guys listen to your mix in mono a lot so you can hear those elements that are too loud, because if your snare is too loud, if something is overpowering the kick, you will hear it in mono when you merge the stereo signal. So that's a wrap for this video, guys. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys Z-Game Editor. So I'm going to show you guys the artwork, how I'm going to make the video for YouTube for the song. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know of any suggestions that you guys have. And make sure you guys are subscribed so you guys are alerted. You hit that notification bell so you guys are alerted anytime these hot, fresh pastries come out of that fryer, some donut action, double chocolate donut. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.